I want to use another movie title to point out another lesson, a heart chakra lesson. I want to use the title, There's Something About Mary. There's something about Mary. Look at Mary first, the mother of Jesus. You have this entire idea of what is called the Immaculate Conception. And for the purpose of personal empowerment and giving us applicable information we can use on a daily basis, let's just say the Immaculate Concept. What is an Immaculate Concept? To give birth to something, to produce something that apparently no man has been involved in. She was called the Virgin Mary. There's something that's uniquely special about you and about your purpose that has nothing to do with anybody from the outside. And so your gift and your purpose is untouched. It's virginal. It's an immaculate concept. Who you are and what your destiny entails is untouched. Even if you told people your plan and they sought to emulate it, your particular path and your route in life will still be uniquely your own, because you're an individual. You are the Alpha and Omega. You're the first and the last you there will ever be. There's something about Mary, though. What did they say was characteristic about Mary a lot of times in the scriptures after major events? It said that Mary would treasure the following events in her heart. This is important. To be able to store things into your heart, to put things into your heart chakra, to not just be intellectual, but to handle things from a very emotional heart space, to be able to deal with things on a soul level. This is wrapped up in storing things in your heart. This is something about the Mary who's the mother of Jesus, who we are calling the one who births the Immaculate Concept, which is basically you, an aspect of you. See, when you allow this Immaculate Concept that you have, whatever the gift or talent it is, whatever you're good at, that concept is immaculate. And if you allow that thing to blossom and grow, it's going to be a savior of somebody's world. It's going to be a Messiah. Look, there's many people that were on the skids of life, but when they really tuned into their Immaculate Conception, their Immaculate Concept, they used that one talent and got themselves out of poverty and got their families out of poverty just by tapping into their Immaculate Concept and allowing it to be a full-blown grown Messiah in their life, saving all the aspects of their life that needed rescuing. There's something about Mary, there is. She treasured things in her heart. She brought it all the way down into the feeling space. She wasn't apathetic. She wasn't cold. She wasn't abrasive. She wasn't aloof. She was very, very involved. Very, very concerned. All right? Very compassionate. This is what a caretaker is all about. Being a lord or being a god. You have to know how to store things and people in your heart. In different compartments of it, and we could get into that in another video about compartmentalizing the heart. But for right now, just consider the heart. And know that with all thinking should come some feeling. Doesn't mean you have to wear your heart on your sleeve at all. But what it does mean is you do want to be sensitive to all the little nuances of life, just so you can know how on track you are in any given moment. That's what it means to have an open heart. You don't want to have a hard heart, because a hard heart has to be what? Broken before it can be reached. A soft heart doesn't have to be broken. A soft heart needs to be massaged for strength and encouragement. No, you uplift a person with a soft heart, a broken heart already, but a person with a hard heart, it has to be shattered, unfortunately. How else you going to chisel away the ice? You've been as warm around them as you can. It didn't make them any nicer. There's something about Mary, and it deals with the heart chakra. Now let's flip it. Let's talk about the other Mary, Magdalene. Right. The one that they want to align with Rahab. The one of whom, actually, I found out in recent research, is connected to some lost gospel, naming her as the official 13th disciple. Very interesting. People can contest that, but what they can't contest is at the end of the Gospels, when Mary Magdalene seeing Jesus after resurrection, she did exclaim, Rabbi, which translates into teacher. The only people who referred to Jesus as a rabbi was his disciples. The Jewish sect that he sprang out of, they wasn't calling him rabbi. They was calling him the prince of demons. He wasn't getting no titles in the Jewish synagogue, you understand? So rabbi was somebody who was only considered a disciple. And in that time, patriarchy was real husky, so you wouldn't have had any acknowledgments of that whatsoever. Unfortunately. So there's something about Mary. This particular Mary, they associated her with prostitution. She's the one that they say was in Simon's house with the alabaster jar. And she has spent all her life's wages on the alabaster jar and was using the perfume from the alabaster jar to wipe Jesus' feet with both her hair, and she was rinsing them with her tears. So this is why a lot of people link that story up to the woman who was caught in adultery, of whom Jesus said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone, and her life is spared. Although according to Jewish custom, she was to be stoned to death because of adultery. So they say that this is Mary Magdalene, the same person who was caught out like that. But you have other people who push back against this. So what is this saying? That you're torn between people. Because at the same time, you are Mary, the mother of the Immaculate Concept, but you're also Mary, the one who was pulled about by the people of the world and by the people in the world. Somebody always calling you. Somebody needs you for something. Somebody over here need a favor. Somebody over here need to borrow a couple of dollars. Somebody over there need you to watch their kids. Somebody over here need a ride to this place or that place. It's like you're a prostitute. You're getting that Mary Magdalene title. Everybody's pulling you this way or that way. People want to use you up for all of your time, and they don't want to necessarily compensate you all the time. Not fairly. And it's not something you necessarily are happy doing all the time either. This person might be ungrateful. So a line of work that's synonymous to that can be considered prostitution. There's something about Mary. You're looking at Magdalene also. So that's just it. Your heart chakra will connect you to people on one of the deepest levels you could ever imagine. But that's going to come with some responsibility, not flying off the handle. Putting things in your heart and turning them around, not flying off the handle. Germinate. Let thoughts marinate. Turn things over in your mind. Think it over. Mull it over. Let yourself cool down. Some of the richest people in the world say it takes time before you make a decision. Even when you're in the moment, you need time to think about it. You got to let your emotions swing. You got to give your heart a couple of beats on the topic. You got to store that thing in your heart. Because at the end of the day, you're being pulled this way and that way by everybody in the world. And why? It's because of your immaculate concept. So this is Super T Sigma again of Sigma Programming, where you already know reaching is teaching. I thank you for your time and attention. Continue to vibrate high, people. Peace.